I'm going to give you a quick tour of the gardens. This is the pole beans that our grandson planted in March, April when he was here indoors. And you can see the red flowers where the beans are going to come out shortly. This is my basil growing in this pot. It's doing very well. And I have parsley on the deck growing in a pot, and a little bit of lettuce. I just cut it off so you won't see much there. Here is the zucchini. It's really doing well, although I have lost some smaller plants because of the, there's a one here if you can see it. I have lost some smaller plants because it's so dry. This is the broccoli. Not much here other than leaves. It hasn't really started to do much. In this bed is a few green onions and my 3 pepper plants, and they are starting to produce peppers. I've got 1 off them, and there's 3 more there, and then there's some in the other ones. The rest of this is tomatoes, and as you can see, they are starting. This is our romaine lettuce. I have cut some off and it's regrowing again, but I need to cut, you can see how tall it is. I need to cut a whole bunch off this week, and well, guess we're going to be having salads every night for supper. This is what that was in the tree. This is the melons. I don't see any yet, just vines and flowers. Over here is the peas, and I've already harvested some of them, a lot of them, but there may be a few more I will harvest. This is my cabbage, and I'm kind of sad because something is really eating my cabbage. So I'm going to do some research and try to fix that today. And this is my spaghetti squash, which has taken over this bed, but here is a big one right here that I need to pick, and you can see the little one, see it's turned brown already, so that's rotting, but there is some more coming out, so we shall see how many we get on that. And this is the cauliflower. It's not doing much other than leafing too, and something is trying to eat it too. I don't know. Over here is the cucumbers. There's an odd potato that came up from last year because this is where the potatoes were. But I do have some more cucumbers. You can see there. The sun's kind of bright. I have a few more cucumbers to pick. This is my tomatoes. They are doing well. Some of them are small because I planted them late, but some of them are, they're starting to get little tomatoes, some of these on them. So this is all the tomatoes. This is my asparagus. And then down to the big garden. The first row here is pinto beans. I planted green beans here. They didn't come up, so then I replanted pinto beans. The second row here is green beans. They're late this year because I had to replant them. The next row is dried beans at the front. First of the row, the end of the row is peas, and this row is peas. And the end of that row was supposed to be more dried beans, but they didn't come up. Then I planted some later cucumbers plants, so there's that. And then onions at the end of that row, and onions in this row. These rows are not to be looked at. This is garlic, which never came up, which may come up again next year, but not this year. Beets, I didn't planted beets on this row, and I got a few beets come up, just sparsely here and there. This row was carrots, and I planted them twice, and they never did come up. But at the end of the beets and the garlic, I didn't have enough to finish a row, so I did plant carrots down in the end of those two rows, and they are coming up a little bit. So this is all my potatoes. Ignore the weeds. The weeds have totally got away on me in this garden. I've been picking all the bugs off these potatoes, so I've been able to keep them alive. And this is just sunflowers that came up, and squash or something that was out of the compost pile. Hubby dumped some dirt up along the fence here, and this is what came up. And this is my 3 rows of peas, and they are ready to harvest. I am going to pick a bunch of them today, if you can see them there. And down at the end of the pea row and the potatoes is our corn. Now, and pumpkins, of course. We put pumpkins all the way around, which they did really well here. Some of the pumpkins didn't do as well on some of the other side, but the corn, I have one stalk that's higher than the rest. The corn, I don't know, it's starting to tassel. It's not as high as what I would like it to be when it tassels, so it remains to be seen what the corn, it is forming some little cobs. I don't know. This will remain to be seen what happens here. We have had a very hot, dry summer, but it has rained an odd time, so it's not like we haven't had any rain. And excuse the weeds, because they say here is a few of the carrots that did come up at the end of these 2 rows. And I did plant a few pole beans, the same as my grandson did. I plant up in the pot. I planted some along this little fence here, so there are some red flowers there. You'll see some beans coming up there. So that's a tour of our garden. This is July the 20th, and this is where we stand right now with the gardens. So after I showed you the good, bad, and the ugly of my garden, the weeds that were in the beets, and after I weeded them, I realized that the second batch of beets that I had put in is coming up. So I am so thrilled. A small video here on the baby chicks. They are growing very fast. They're not quite as big as the laying hens, but they are getting there. So we will have to keep them a few more weeks though, because we usually do not butcher until I've got lots of grapes. They're still green, but as soon as they ripen, I'll be making grape juice and grape jelly. The gardens are starting to explode. Now it's time for the real work.